Sound speeds, but it can be very difficult to control, especially in the world of motion picture and scripted television audio recording. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that if the mentality is typically that if we see it, we can hear it. But if there's a police officer walking by and his keys are jingling off of his key fob that's hanging from his belt, you don't want to hear him jingle. You can see him, but you don't need to hear him. So in this video, I'm going to be going over a couple of tricks that we use in the motion picture industry that you can use to help reduce the unwanted sounds that are very common on set. Let's actually start first with keys. You don't want to hear that. But you cannot take matters into your own hands. You have to involve the department that is responsible for those keys, which is going to be the property department, the props department. So you'll want to reach out to them and ask them if there's anything they can do to silence those keys. One trick I usually do involves keeping some clear rubber bands in my pocket at all times. And those allow me to silence keys if I hear them rattle. You can hear this is quite a bit different, and you don't really see it. You can if you're close and you look very, very hard at it, but if it's hanging on the back of a police officer's belt and it's far away, you're not going to hear it. Most of the time, though, prop people are going to be reaching for something called super top stick or top stick. This is just toupee tape. It's something that you'll use to stick a toupee to your head. But what they'll do is they'll cut off little bitty squares of it and they'll use it to secure around the keys. Now, props people do have a lot of tricks that they may use to stick the keys together, and that's fine. Let them do it however they want as long as it's quiet. Now, they could leave a couple of the keys loose and they say, well, I want to see at least some movement. Okay, fine. It's at least going to be reduced greatly and you're not going to be hearing the jingles that you were before. But I still recommend that you at least keeping on yourself a couple of those clear rubber bands, which are very, very cheap. You can get them dirt cheap at a store. And since they're clear, they go around and you don't see them once they're more than a few feet away. But another trick you can also keep in mind involves this stuff here, Joe's sticky stuff. If you open up this tin, you'll find inside this wonderful little material that is actually pressure operated. If you take a little piece of this and you tear it off, you can use this to stick to just about anything you want. You stick it to a surface. This is also good for plant miking, by the way. You stick it to a surface, and then when you remove the sticky, which I've already crushed this piece, which I do apologize for, but it will still stick to something like, for example, this little bitty cheap speaker. If I stick this to this speaker, it will, well, maybe not this one. Yes, it will. Okay, great. This will actually stick now to a wall. Now, the other cool thing about Joe's is that the stronger you press it, the stronger the stick is going to be. And you can use that to your advantage. If you just need a little bit of adhesion on something, just use light pressure. If you need a lot of stick, like you want to really cement something to a wall, it's going to be a lot more pressure that you need to apply. And to remove, you just twist it and then just pull horizontally along the surface. Like if it's on a wall, just pull this way and it will completely release. You don't want to pull straight off of it like that. Joe Sticky stuff is great for us in the sound world because we can use it for a lot of different things. Like for example, somebody wheels in a cart with room service on it for your movie, but they don't take anything off the cart. They could be rattling like crazy and you might not know what in the world to do to stick it together, but take a little bit of Joe's, stick it on any of the surfaces like saucers or cups, plates, anything like that that's rattling, and it will glue down and not be able to be moved at all. And it will be quiet and lovely. Keep that in mind as a little trick too. Joe's can be used for many different things just like that. Now the next trick I'm going to get into involves handling of boom poles. Let's use this section of an ambient boom pole and listen to this. My ring is making noises against the boom. That's not good. If I try to slide my hand, you hear that sound? That's not good. We're not going to be able to make great audio with our boom poles if it's making a bunch of noises like that. So what you're going to want to keep in mind is that there are a couple of things you can do. Of course, the easiest one is to remove the ring. But if you are like me, you don't want to do that for many different reasons. Number one is I like being married. And I don't want my wife to get annoyed that I took my ring off because I'm the kind of guy that would probably leave it someplace. Even if I have a good place for it, I would come home and it would not be there for some reason. So what I do when I'm on set, I take my ring off when I'm at home and I replace it with this right here, a silicone ring that I bought off of Amazon. Now you may say, that's not the wedding ring your wife gave you. Correct, it's not. However, I am thinking about my wife whenever I wear it because my wife's favorite color is blue, and there's a blue ring around the ring itself. But now that I have the silicone ring, listen to this. That is a lot quieter. I can now slide my hand up and down and you're not going to hear it. Well, I mean, you're going to hear it anyway because it's handling noise. You're going to still hear that on the boom itself. But if your mixer uses roll-off or doesn't like to use roll-off and they like to rely on post to do it, which they shouldn't do, they should use roll-off, then it will get out. It will get out of the audio track without a problem. It's a minor sound. These silicone rings are extremely cheap on Amazon and they come in many different designs. So pick one that reminds you of your wife, maybe even let her help you pick it out. And so that way when you're not wearing your regular ring, you can wear this on set and all is happy and well. Hopefully, you'll enjoy using that sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.